Calling all units, calling all units. Donut Shop has a fresh dozen. Go ahead and take a 1040.
My wife calls me a serial hobbyist. I have a hobby and then I go like hardcore. I've got what hand? Here we go. I've got a Star Wars helmet in the back.
Ah,
I've done full. I have full movie costumes, Star Wars costumes, and I've gone for years to special events, charities, hospitals, all that kind of stuff with the Star Wars group. So that's something that's completely different than, I mean, I'm putting a uniform on, but I'm putting a different uniform on. And
but it's
you know, something like that does that. I'm also, I try to work out as much as possible, and I know for a lot of people that's a, you know, it kicks a lot of things up in your body, and it you know, I mean, I'm definitely not a you know, a biologist or anything like that, or a doctor that can explain everything it does, but it does good things. Did you in addition to therapy ever, you know, have anything like that, like an outlet, or was it just kind of work?
um I do a lot of sewing and knitting.
Mhm. Mhm.
So that was kind of an outlet, and I was walking at the time.
Yeah.
Um Even on my breaks I would go out and walk and listen to podcasts and um
Fresh air.
fresh oh gosh, yeah. Well, except during fire season, but
Oh, yeah, that's, you guys get fires. Yeah, you guys get
we
those
get it.
fires out there.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
couple times it was so bad that I was wearing a mask outside
Ah,
rather than
yeah, yeah,
inside because
yeah,
it was just so bad. Um,
yeah.
but
Hey, you didn't end up having to work through COVID stuff in
yeah,
dispatch,
yeah,
did you? Yeah,
it
you
was
had
definitely.
retired prior to that?
I retired in 2021.
Oh, so you were part
Um,
of that. You had to deal with.
so and a psychiatrist signed me out in October of 2020.
Oh,
So yeah, I got that
yeah.
initial part. So
Because I know
yeah, and
with our
that's
dispatch,
another
it was
thing
tough.
too. When you're having a trauma and then all of a sudden you go into a lockdown and you can't go anywhere. You can't go out and do the things you normally were doing.
Well, you're in California too,
You
so yeah,
know,
wow.
as far as being outside, you couldn't be around people. So
Yeah,
everybody decided they wanted to go out. So I
yeah,
would find more people. I would bump into more people on my walks outside during COVID than I
yeah.
did before that. And so, it was just, it was different. They're taking this person with trauma and putting them in a box for a while. That was not,
Mhm.
that to it, I think.
Yeah, they close it off. Um, one of the people that you know, when you and I started communicating about coming on the show, I have a I'll call him a young man. I still feel like a young man, but I'll call him a young man because he's really young. He was one of our police explorers, and
Mm.
I'm an advisor. And then he worked at the state attorney's office in college, and then now he's a dispatcher, and he works midnights. So I see him in the mornings when I'm usually when I'm coming out of briefing, he's coming out of the elevator, and it's like
Uh,
so exciting to see him, you know, growing up kind of thing and doing that. And I'm always, because I'm a fan of dispatchers, I always talk to him about it and ask him. And I told him, I said, I've got Deborah coming on as a retired dispatcher, as a long time dispatcher with a lot of experience. So I'm going to interview him probably face to face, but I'm going to interview him as a young dispatcher, you know, somebody seeing and hearing all this stuff, and he's aspiring to be a deputy for the county, but you know, in the meantime, this is what he's doing. So if you have any words of advice from a wise dispatcher with years of experience, what would you say to them?
um, don't wait for the poop to hit the oscillating device. Go get
Okay.
yourself a therapist right away.
Yeah.
um, Getting established with a therapist, finding somebody that you're comfortable with, that you can start, once or twice a year in the beginning. That way, when you do have those issues come up or you have a traumatic event, you have somebody that you're already established with, and that person can give you the tools early to deal with these traumas that and it's not an if, it's a when with
Mhm.
with our jobs.
Right.
it's
Yeah.
you're
I mean,
gonna get it.
that goes across the board to police, fire, any kind of person responding to other people's problems as a profession
Right.
consistently over and over
Yes.
again, multiple times a day. So yeah, that's good advice, to sort of have yourself prepared for that, because you may not be in that mental space to even locate that type of help. um and I've heard it in other places, you don't always go with the first
No.
therapist or person
No.
that you talk to. You may need to talk to a few to get an idea.
Right.
There's even apps now that are able to connect you like this to other people,
Oh,
that you don't
and
even
this
have
is
to
how I
deal with a
have my
local.
therapy. My
Hmm.
therapy is online, so I don't have
Yeah.
to leave the house. Because I do childcare now for my grandson, and
Hmm.
so during nap times is when I schedule my therapy appointment so that I have that
Yeah.
quiet time and don't have him running around and bugging me. Um,
Cool.
so
Very
yeah.
cool. All right. Well, that's great advice. Hey, what's up, guys? If you like that clip, go over and check out the full episode at Donut Shop Podcasts. Link is down below in the description.